Hi there, binary options traders. My name is AJ, and today is not a usual trade of the day video that I usually put out right here on this channel, but the introduction of a new set of videos that is going to be called the Indy Buffet. So essentially what this series is going to be is simple videos explaining common and custom indicators for the foreign exchange trading system available on MetaTrader 4. So let's get right into it. So as I said, simple videos explaining common and custom indicators for MT4. These videos are going to have a combination of practical and theoretical knowledge. So, for example, I'll give an indicator, I'll explain how it's created, how it's calculated, and then I'm going to show you practical uses of how you can use the indicator in your trading. It's going to be primarily focused towards binary options with 15-minute, 60-second, and 1-hour expiries, because those are the expiries I use. However, these indicators, some of them were used or designed for long-term, much longer, even years of with years of data to look at instead of just tick data, as it's now very common. So, you are free to take these indicators and try and apply them into different fashions than what's described here. But there's no guarantee of their success, and even with the methods that are outlined here, there is no guarantee of success either. I mean, just use your common sense, trade as best as you can, and trade in the right conditions, and it'll help you achieve a better profitability. So, also, please leave your comments and feedback in the comments box down below. I really appreciate it, and it keeps me making these videos and even trying out new video series like this. Just a little plug, as you can see, there's my channel right here at the bottom, but there's also binaryoptiontrading.com. There's a great site run by Rich of the Happy Forexer channel. I always promote that channel because it's an awesome resource. It's a daily source of great trading. And although this is a little bit of a divergence from what Rich teaches, which is just pure price action coupled with pivot points, this is a little bit different, and it's just going to be showing you different indicators, maybe adding some extra knowledge, but also just something different that you can throw onto your charts, and maybe you can profit from it as well. So today we're going to be talking about Bollinger Bands. Now, Bollinger Bands, according to Wikipedia, they were invented by John Bollinger in the 1980s. And what Bollinger Bands essentially are used for is to measure the highness or lowness of the price relative to previous trades. So it's as simple as I could put it as it's a lagging indicator because it's based on previous historical price data. So Bollinger Bands are measuring the highness and lowness of the price relative to previous trades. But how exactly are they calculated? Well, they are consisted of an N period moving average, an upper band at K times N period standard deviation above the moving average, and a lower band at K times an N period standard deviation below the moving average. Now, that sounds like super complicated math, but it really isn't. Essentially, what it is, it's a form of standard bell curve. And we'll get into this in a little bit. But essentially is you set up what moving average you'd like to test at, whether that's a 20, that's the most common one, a 50, which is what I use, 100, 200, it doesn't matter. That's the moving average. And it can be set to either exponential, standard, whatever you like. Usually it's the most common one is standard. Then it'll place it how many deviations you would like up and down, sorry. So, for example, most people set it to 2, same as me. So, for example, if I selected my 50 moving average, I get 2 deviations up and a 50 average, 2 deviations down. All right. Sorry, a little bit of a problem with the computer, as always. Uses for Bollinger Bands. It's basically a form of standard bell curve. It's an easy way of determining an occurrence of mean reversion. What I mean by that, mean reversion means when price should be within a certain area and it moves up and down. So this is more common within RSI, within stochastic oscillators of that kind, where it shows a standard price and the price moving around that certain area. So when we see Bollinger Bands, usually when price steps out, it might step back in. And so let's get into some of the charts that are demonstrating of this phenomena. All right, so right over here, as you can see, is a standard chart. This is not the MetaTrader charts that you usually see me with, but this is a freestockcharts.com. This is the first trading platform I used, and I still really like it because I like the way it shows Bollinger Bands comparatively to MetaTrader. And as you can see, the price stepped out of my Bollinger Band and then quickly came back in. Price stepped back out of the Bollinger Band, came back in. Price stepped out of the Bollinger Band, came back in. Now, and then again over here, price stepped out of the Bollinger Band, came back in, right on the same candle. Price stepped out of the Bollinger Band and didn't come back in for a couple of candles. So as you can see, it's not foolproof. If price is, for example, if there's economic data or some sort of big world event that's going on, of course all your indicators are going to be thrown into the flux because it won't matter. People will sell or people will buy depending on what the news is like. So these tools are to be coupled with the market conditions. So for example, if it's just a standard trading day, there's not that much data that's being released, not your typical, not like a big trading day such as NFP Friday, then this is a good technique to use because you can see when the price steps outside of the Bollinger Band and you can quickly capitalize on that movement. So for example, what I could have done is right over here, I say it stepped outside, waited for the next candle to close outside of the Bollinger Band, and then I would place a put option, and then this candle would come in red. It's not foolproof, but it's a good technique, and it's one of the techniques I like to use often in my trading. And for the same thing over here, for example, you see this movement downwards when it finally turned green and then started moving back up, and there was a crossover back into the Bollinger Band. That gave me a good signal that probably the next candle would also be green, and here we are, green candle as well. Not foolproof, just an idea of some of the ways you can use these Bollinger Bands to your advantage. So again, I have another freestockcharts.com setup. So as you can see, this is on the Australian dollar versus the US dollar, and I'm just going to demonstrate it right here that Bollinger Bands are not foolproof. And as you can see, I have the 50 Bollinger Bands set with the 2 deviations, and price just fell down. It broke through this resistance once pivot level, and it just fell down, and it didn't come back in for quite a while. And considering that this is a 5-minute chart, this took a good chunk of time to get to that point between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. So again, just a word of warning: pay attention to your marking conditions. Obviously, this was a pretty big news announcement that triggered this certain action to happen in the market. So don't just rely solely on your indicators. Look at what can be used and see if it can fit your market conditions. Something a little more comfortable for everyone. This is the Euro USD on 1-minute chart, standard in MetaTrader. This is something I like to trade. And as you can see, Bollinger Bands here become a great way of range trading. And as you can see, the Bollinger Bands have gotten very, very constricted. When the Bollinger Bands get constricted, usually means price is going to break out at some point, but also creates an effective opportunity to take put and call options depending on the range. So for example, right over here when it stepped out, that would have been a great put option to take. And then when it stepped out over here, great call option to take. When it hit the 50 EMA, 50 deviation over here, great time to put it back in. When it hit over here, well, it sunk back down. Even though the candle closed green because of this one, it was still, when it hit this point, it fell back down. So as you can see, these Bollinger Bands, they can be used as a great resource to figure out where price should be relative to what has happened before. But again, it's not predictive. It doesn't tell you exactly what the next one price will be, because if we had a great indicator like that, well, it definitely wouldn't be sold because people would hang on to that for the dear lives because they would be making so much money in the market. Again, here's another freestockcharts.com trade, Bollinger Band trade, and as you can see, it right over here went out of the price zone and then it quickly came back in. And then here, as you saw, I believe this is an 8 or 9. This is a 9 EMA. As it separated from the 50 EMA, price started deviating and stepping out of the Bollinger Bands. So you can also couple this. I highly suggest this to anybody that like to test out Bollinger Bands. Couple it with other indicators and couple it with other things. And what I mean by indicators and strategies and that kind of thing, couple it with price action. Just watch what the price is doing. Watch for economic data, what's happening in the market that day. Watch moving averages. If you have them, you can add them to your chart. Just be careful. Don't rely solely in the indicators. Pay attention to what's actually happening, because a lot of traders will get lazy. And this is my fear with this video series, is that people will just be looking for the so-called holy grail of trading, which will just tell you when to trade and when to turn off. And that unfortunately does not exist. It'd be great if it existed, but it doesn't exist. And so the truth is that you just have to be able to couple this information with other strategies, with your technique, with your trading style to get good profits. And so not every technique is foolproof, not every indicator is foolproof, but definitely learning about these indicators should help you out in making better decisions. So that's it for this video. As you can remember, this is my YouTube channel, Binary AJ. You can subscribe to that, and you can get all the new videos, including my daily trade videos and more videos like this. I am available on Twitter at BinaryAJ. Just set that up, so probably have no followers right now and nothing going on, but eventually we're going to try and grow that channel up of support, because I'll be available much more than my YouTube channel. I'm also going to be on Facebook.com/BinaryAJ. You can leave a comment, share the video, like the video, and subscribe to the channel for plenty of updates. And don't forget, if you don't have a 24-hour option account, there's a link in the description down below, which you can take, and then you can fund the account, and they can ask for a demo account to practice all kinds of strategies and try out new indicators such as the Bollinger Bands in your trading. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.